Hi there. Thank you all very much for taking the time. We're actually not going to introduce ourselves right now because we are mindful of your time. And who we are is very much connected to the story that we're about to tell. And we're going to tell those stories in this presentation, but we're going to start with another story called What Happened This Summer. So this story takes place, this is a true story. This story takes place in Newark Public Schools. This is a district of 38,000 students, and the story takes place in June 2023. So this happened only about 3 months ago. And in June of 2023, only 27% of Newark Public School students were reading and writing on grade level. And included in those students not reading and writing on grade level is 7th grader named Ashley Loha. How do we know this? Because on July 17th, she joined our Written Out Loud storytelling and writing program. Ashley was one of only 10 students in her K-8 school recommended by her principal for this program. So there was something going on with Ashley, some kind of a spark. But at the very beginning of our program, she was given a short prompt, which we do with every child, so that we could assess her literacy level. And the prompt was, write a short story about an unexpected journey. She was given 10 minutes to respond. Here's what she wrote. One day, me and my family wanted to go on a picnic. It was going all good until we saw a bear. We ran and left all of our things. As I look back, I see the bear chasing us. After a while, I realize I lost the bear, but not for long. So at Written Out Loud, we analyze every sample using the Flesch-Kincaid readability assessment. We plugged in Ashley's sample, and it showed us what I am sure you have already assumed, which is that Ashley is writing on a 2nd grade level, 5 grades below where she should be. And she knows it. Whether it's on a conscious or unconscious level, Ashley knows that she is writing well below her ability. Now, what does that mean for Ashley? What does it mean that she is that far behind and she knows it? Well, City of Newark knows exactly what's at stake for Ashley because literally the exact same week that Ashley wrote her sample, Newark Mayor Ras Baraka held an emergency press conference about the student literacy crisis that the city is facing. And he said, children lacking proficiency by 3rd grade are up to 6 times more at risk for leaving school without a diploma and on a trajectory towards lifetime limited economic growth. So what's at stake for Ashley and for the thousands of kids in your district who are like Ashley is pretty much everything. Her life, her opportunities, her future. At Written Out Loud, we believe that her life, opportunities, and future are defined not by her present circumstances, but by her belief in the value and significance of her own voice. At Written Out Loud, we believe that the future of her life will be defined by her belief that her own story can be written and rewritten through her own actions. If she believes it, she has the opportunity to live it. Newark Public School System believes this too. And unlike many school districts who are stuck in the past, Newark Public School is led by innovators. They know that sticking with the status quo is going to yield the same unacceptable outcomes for the thousands of Ashleys who are writing below their grade level. So they decided to try out an experiment. This summer, they signed up for a pilot, a new writing and storytelling program called Written Out Loud, and they asked principals from across 15 of their K-8 schools to choose a total of 150 students to enter the program. That's 10 students from each of the 15 schools, and among those chosen was Ashley Loha. So the program begins. And you already know how she was writing at the beginning of the program. Ashley proceeds to spend 16 hours in the program. She works with us for 3 weeks, twice a week, 90 minutes a session. And on the 2nd to last day of the program, we give her the same prompt. We give her the same amount of time to respond. And the day she responded to this 2nd prompt was August 4th, 2023. It was 2:00 p.m. I happen to know the time exactly because I was sitting at my desk, this very desk, monitoring the program. And at 2 o'clock exactly, I got the following Slack message from Ashley's written out loud teacher. We call them story directors. His name is Chris. And Chris had just given Ashley the prompt for the second time. Now he's watching her write live in the class's Google Doc. And he messaged me. He said, something really cool is happening right now. You remember the prompt. Write a short story about an unexpected journey. Here's what Ashley Loha wrote after spending 14 and a half hours in our program. It was a Friday afternoon, and as usual, Benito is working as a bagger in a supermarket. As he works, all the clocks suddenly stop. It was 6:48 p.m., 2 minutes before the Benito shift was over. Everyone began to panic, not knowing what time it is and what to do. Benito's manager decided to send Benito home. Benito ran back home and asked his family what had happened, if it's real or not. It started to get darker and darker, but time was still 6:48 p.m. Benito and his father decided to go and ask their neighbor if it's like that for them too. Benito saw an old white van that he never saw before. Him and his dad went to check it out. When they saw an old woman that had a book, they talked to the woman and they found out her name was Maria. Maria was a light-skinned woman, 71 years old, and was homeless. They gave her some food and a warm blanket. As they was walking away, Benito realized he had left his phone and went to go get his phone back. When he went back to the van, he saw Maria read her book, which was a spell book. It turns out that Maria was the one that all the clocks stopped working. She said she wanted to go see her family, that she didn't mean this to happen. Benito asked if he could see the book. Maria said yes. After a while, Benito found a page that could turn things all back to normal. Everything became back to normal. The time was 10 p.m. Everyone decided to take one day off. Benito and his dad decided to help Maria to see her family that lived in San Juan. On Sunday, everything went back to normal for now. It turns out Maria lied and was coming back for Benito. Benito was outside taking care of his chickens. When he turned around, he saw the old white van and Maria with an evil smile looking at him. The end. Let's stop right there for a moment. How are we all feeling about Ashley now? I'm going to ask you an easy question and then a harder question. Here's the easy one. Raise your hand if you believe that Ashley Loha is capable of achieving anything she wants to achieve in life, if she is given the proper support, guidance, and structure. Us two. Now, here's the slightly harder question. Why? Why do we believe this? I'm actually asking you, why do we believe this? Well, here's the bottom line. You know, we have a few more slides to show you. The whole second half of the presentation is about how our program actually works. What did she actually do in there? What did she learn and how? And we want to talk to you about implementation and timetable and money and all kinds of important stuff. But nothing is more important than this question right here. Why do we all now believe that Ashley has the potential to rewrite the story of her life? Because Ashley Loha is a storyteller. What do I mean? We have a mission statement written out. Writers write words, storytellers write the world. Martin Luther King, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, the climate activist Greta Thunberg, Taylor Swift, Mindy Kaling, Malala Yousafzai, Nicole Hannah-Jones, the author of the 1619 Project, Lin-Manuel Miranda, Volodymyr Zelensky, Ashley Loha. These are storytellers. What's the single most important thing that all these people have in common? They bring others with them. That's what storytellers do. They lead with their ears and their empathy and their heart in concert with their words, their voices, and their values. by listening to the needs of their communities and using their skills as a storyteller to craft an inspiring path forward. Storytellers lead others on a shared journey of positive transformation. Whatever path the Ashleys end up walking in life, whether she ends up as a politician or a writer, a social worker, a teacher, a parent, or a friend, every meaningful path on earth is elevated by mastering the craft of storytelling. This is not a magic trick. Storytelling is a skill. And this skill is the heart of what we teach at Written Out Loud. And by the way, wherever this skill is learned by kids, the literacy data will follow. Ashley's second story, the one about Benito, is right on grade level. That's a 5 grade level increase in just 16 hours. Now let's talk about what's even more important underneath the surface. She knows what she's achieved. How does she know? Because we published her work in a book. Now, Ashley is a published author. She's now holding in her hands Benito's story, which, by the way, she wrote even more chapters of. And now it's published. And there's another copy of this book sitting in her school library. That's the book she's holding in her hand. How did everyone else do in the program, by the way? Was Ashley an outlier, an exception? Well, she was exceptional, but across the board, students went up almost a full grade level in just 16 hours, provided they came to over half the classes. Our program does not work if the kids don't show up. We'll talk about implementation details later because we will absolutely need your partnership and support to make it work. But just take a moment to look at these other metrics as well. Look at the middle. Students' use of mature and sophisticated vocabulary words in their writing went over 150% in 16 hours. You saw it in Ashley's sample. And that was true across the board. And the third metric is critical as well, productivity. We have a saying at Written Out Loud. Students never write more and worse. And you know this from your own experience as teachers. Disengaged students maybe write a sentence or two, if that. When they increase their word count, it correlates with increased confidence, courage, engagement, self-esteem. Program-wide, productivity goes up over 50% per student, with students like Ashley going up 200, 300, 400%. And yes, every student in the program graduates as a published author. The ultimate objective in our partnership with you, the exact same objective we have for the students of Newark. And that is for every single 8th grader in your district to graduate as a published author in perpetuity with increased productivity, vocabulary, and significant gains in literacy grade level. That's what we're doing in Newark, and that's what we can do with you. So here's the part where we talk about exactly what we do, what we'd like to do with your students and teachers, which is the exact same path that's bringing about these amazing results in Newark.